What's up, everybody? Shuckle King here, bringing you another draft analysis for my next Pokemon Draft League. I'm very excited for this one, so hopefully you guys are too. It's going to be different content on the channel, at least different content that's been on the channel for a while, because I have done Showdown Draft League content, but not in a long while, so hopefully you guys appreciate this. It's also going to be older generations, so it's going to be Generation 6 and Generation 7 Draft League. I don't even know if you guys have seen this. If you have seen it, let me know, but this might be your first experience with it, and it's going to be a weird experience for sure, because in UDL, as I said in my update video, it's ran by Maddie Brolick and Carson, and they allow pretty busted mons compared to what most other draft leagues typically allow. I really like their point system as well for UDL. It's harder to draft Pokemon, so like you have more busted Pokemon allowed, but you also generally have fewer points to pick Pokemon on your team. So I could like pull up the draft board at least at the very beginning. So we have 25 point tiers for Oras. So this is going to go over my Oras and my Sun and Moon build. I'll go over Oras Generation 6 first, and then I'll go over my Generation 7 Draft League. But you can see like we have Mega Alakazam, Genesect, Mega Metagross as 25 point options, but you only have 100 points total. So this is 25% of your budget. And if you get like Mega Alakazam plus Darkrai, which I don't think that's going to be possible, but in theory it could be possible, that would be like 49 out of your 100 points. Now, they're both busted Pokemon, so maybe it's worth it, but maybe it's worth it to get some cheaper options, as we can see here a little bit on the side, like Mega Charizard X is 17 points, or Manaphy is 17 points, or Shaman Sky without Air Slash is allowed for 16 points, so it's going to be an interesting draft league here. Again, I've been part of UDL for a long time, since Season 2, and my team was busted, at least for Oras, for UDL Season 2. Here's a snippet here. Darkrai, Tornadus, Mega Alakazam was, I think, 16 points back then, because people didn't realize how busted that Pokemon was. I feel like I was one of the people that really highlighted how good Mega Alakazam is, and now it's a 25-point Pokemon in this draft league, which is crazy. So yeah, this is 100 points for your Pokemon. It's 8 to 10 Pokemon per team. That's both for Oras and Sun and Moon. We have 18 people playing, so we have 2 draft pools of 9. So it's going to be pretty easy to draft Pokemon. We should be getting pretty busted teams. For Oras, I was pick 5 out of 9, and for Sun and Moon, I was 9th pick. So that means I had the wheel pick for Sun and Moon, but for Oras, I'm basically stuck in the middle, which is okay. There's like still pretty busted Oras Pokemon, as you saw here. On the A tab, they're going to be the first 4 Pokemon that were picked. So Genesect, Mega Metagross, that's crazy that one's allowed. Darkrai and Mega Latias were the first 4 Pokemon allowed. So I think before we go into this, there are Mega Pokemon. You see Mega Latias, Mega Metagross allowed, but as you go down in price, there's some pretty good value stuff, like Mega Aerodactyl is 16 points, and that's like a super fast Pokemon. Mega Garchomp is 13 points, and like I even approach Mega Garchomp is like it's Garchomp with better stats, but it can't hold an item. You could even just not Mega Garchomp if you really want the speed, because in Oras, the speed of your Mega Pokemon does not get calculated a turn that it Mega Evolves. In Generation 7, you will get the speed boost immediately. So, for instance, Mega Alakazam in Generation 7 has a base speed of 150, and it gets that 150 speed boost immediately. In Generation 6, it's only a base 120 speed Pokemon as regular Alakazam when it Megas, and on a following turn it becomes a base 150 speed Mega Alakazam. So a little bit different there. With how fast Mega Alakazam is, that's not that big of a problem. I guess Mega Lopunny benefits a lot from that speed change there, going from 105 to 135 in one turn in Generation 7, but it doesn't have Triple Axe or U-turn like it has in National Dex. So there's also very cheap Mega Pokemon here, including, you can't see it from what I have on the screen here, but Mega Banette is 0 points. So that is an interesting option there. So can I scroll over? No, I can't. So, okay. So, how I wanted to approach this, you saw the first 4 Pokemon that were picked. Mega Alakazam I could go for, obviously. I don't really know how good it is at 25 points. It's a super, super strong Pokemon, but yeah, I don't know if I want to spend 25 points on it. Blaziken, I mean, I think people are coming finally. I've been saying this for, honestly, probably a couple generations, but I think that regular Blaziken is not that good in draft. Like, it's fine, but it's definitely not good enough to be ban-worthy. And I think people are finally coming up to around that. So we have Blaziken here. I don't think that's worth it. I think I'd probably get a cheaper Mega than Latios or Mawile, though they're both cool. Mega Kangaskhan can't use Seismic Toss, but it still has a Power-Up Punch, so it'd still get really strong. Aegislash is probably something I would have picked, but I have used Aegislash, I believe, last UDL season in Aura. So I'm going to get Deoxys Speed here. I don't think that's too surprising of a Pokemon to get. It is the fastest Pokemon allowed. 180 base speed is ridiculous. Like, I believe Crobat or Tapu Koko is base 130, and they max it at 394 speed. Jolteon isn't there as well. So I don't even have to run any speed to outspeed, like, max speed Jolteon or max speed Crobat, which is just crazy. You probably are going to go max HP and then max defense or max special attack, depending on what you do, what options you want to run there. Or you could even run speed to, like, outspeed a Scarfer that's trying to outspeed a no-speed Deoxys. So you have options there. But Deoxys can run Spikes and Stealth Rocks and definitely be fine in that role. It could be a Nasty Plot with Recover. And if you go, like, max HP, max defense or something like that, you can take hits, like, okay-ish. Not great, but it has enough coverage. It has Focus Blast. It has Hidden Power, so it can hit, like, Ferrothorn with a fire move for 4 times effective damage if I don't want to run Focus Blast. But Nasty Plot's probably going to run, like, Psychic or Psycho Boost and, like, Dark Pulse or Focus Blast to hit Steel types, depending. So I think Deoxys Speed has quite a bit of versatility here, and I think it's worthy of 24 points. It's a lot of points. That's already, like, basically a fourth of my budget is just completely gone. So for my next pick, and I don't want to go on forever for explaining all these picks. I like to go on forever, but I also have 2 drafts to talk about here. These are some more Pokemon that were picked. So Mega Alakazam was picked. Blaziken, all the 23-point Pokemon. Mega Kangaskhan's available to pair with Deoxys Speed, which don't think it's too tempting for me. Mega Kangaskhan, you can just run Rocky Helmet, and you're dealing a third of damage with Power-Up Punch, and then you go for, like, a Body Slam or a Return to kill and return. That's like 50% of your health right there. You have Sucker Punch, so it's like a little bit harder to revenge kill Mega Kangaskhan, but yeah, I'm just not the most sold on it, and I'm pretty sure it went undrafted even. So next Pokemon I went with, out of all the, there's like some still pretty cool options in this 21 to 18 point tier. So I did go with Garchomp as the next Pokemon. I feel like this is one of the best normal RS Pokemon that's allowed, you could say. It's faster than base 100, which is like a nice speed tier to go off of. That speed tier, like, speed minimum is getting higher and higher in each generation. I think generation 9 is like 110 is the speed mark for, like, what you're trying to go over, like outpacing, like, Latios and Iron Moth and stuff like that. But Garchomp 102 speed, definitely good enough. Has Sword Stance and really high attack at base 130. Obviously, it's no, like, Kartana with a base 181 attack, but this is Oras. We're a little bit more sane on this side. It has Stealth Rocks as well. Yachi basically lets you live any one hit, unless you're, like, super, super boosted up. But, like, Yachi should let you live one hit and then deal a lot of damage with Earthquake or Outrage or Dragon Claw, whatever in return. So I like Garchomp here. It's 20 points, so I'm already down to 56 points left, and I have to pick 6 to 8 more Pokemon, so not a lot of wiggle room left. But I like this Deoxys Garchomp. 2 fast Pokemon. Both can set up hazards. Both can sweep. Deoxys with Nasty Plot and Garchomp on the physical side. And Garchomp is a pretty good breaker. Deoxys isn't really a breaker, but that's okay. For the third pick, here's a couple more Pokemon that were picked. Maybe we can scroll over here. So I wanted to get a good Steel type. There were options for Steel types. We have, like, Ferrothorn here. We have Heatran here. Jirachi. Skarmory. We have options in this Scizor, another option. Metagross. So there are Steel types that we can get. That would, I think, round out the team pretty well so far. But I also just want one of mine that I think is, like, super, super good that you see here. Also, like, a pretty staple Aura's Pokemon, and that's Clefable with my third pick. It really does everything. It's also a Dark Resist for my Deoxys, because Deoxys is, I mean, obviously Pursuit Trap. It's going to be something I want to watch out for with Deoxys, and Clefable at least handles Dark type super, super well. Maybe not like Drapion with Poison coverage, but for the most part, Clefable handles them well. Aegislash as well can be problematic. Well, that's also not a Dark type. So, anyway, I can Healing Wish with Clefable, so that's definitely nice. Healing Wish into getting Deoxys another go at going for Nasty Plot Sweep, or Garchomp going for another Swords Dance Sweep. It has Heal Bell, so in case if Deoxys gets Thunder Waved, which it cuts your speed by 3/4, as opposed to just 50%, so you get really slow. And Garchomp can get like burned and such, so I have Clefable, because you have Scald is so prevalent in this metagame, so Heal Bell is nice as an option there. It's a third Stealth Rocker if I want to run more offensive sets on these two, then Clefable can run Rocks. It has Thunder Wave, which is one of the best moves in Aura's. And I think people are coming around to it being still a great move in Generation 9, even though the speed drop isn't as bad. It's only 90% accurate. It's 100% accurate in this generation, so it's great there. It could also Calm Mind Sweep. You could just run Calm Mind, Soft Boil, and you have 16 PP for Soft Boil, Moonblast, and Fire Blast. Like, I could run this set and probably be in pretty good shape. Like, the bulk is definitely nice on Clefable. And because hazard removal is harder in Generation 6 than like Generation 7, because a lot of Pokemon got defog in Generation 7, Clefable not having to worry about hazards at all because Magic Guard is a really nice touch. This is really like the ultimate Gloomon, but it's 19 points, so it's a lot of points. And I feel like a lot of people would be very surprised if Clefable's around for round 3, but it being 19 points is definitely like a deterrent to actually get it. So we have 37 points left to get 5 to 7 members. So we're definitely running out of really good options, but I feel like these 3 can come every week. And hopefully, honestly, my top 4 can come every week, but we'll see. So for my pick 4, these are some more options that are available here. But I'm going to be going a little bit cheaper. Latios is still available. Kieran Black is still available, which are crazy. Mega Lopunny is available, and I haven't gotten a Mega yet, so like that could be an option. Mega Scizor. But I would really, if I pick Mega Scizor, an 18 point, I'd have 19 points left for 4 members minimum. So that's really, really straining on points. So I'm probably going to get a cheaper cost Mega. Hazard removal would be nice, and Mega Scizor would fit really well. Especially with Garchomp, you could run Hidden Power Ice, but then you wouldn't be able to hit Scizor as hard. So it's definitely a nice option there. I could just run regular Scizor, which is 4 points cheaper, and still have a Mega option in the future. So I think that's something I definitely want to consider. I think another Pokemon I considered that has removal is Crobat. It sits at an Elite Speed tier 130. Fills in a speed gap between Garchomp and Deoxys. I really don't have to worry about speed anymore with this draft, I feel like, if I get those 3 Pokemon. So Crobat's nice. But ideally, I went with another Pokemon because I would like Rapid Spin to pair with Deoxys speed having Spike access. So I actually went with a 10-point Mega, and there it is right there. So we got Mega Blastoise, not G-Max. So Mega Blastoise, it has 135 special attack, which is really, really high. I mean, that's higher than Garchomp's base 130 attack. Coming off Mega Launcher, so Water Pulse or Scald. Aura Sphere gets boosted. Dragon Pulse gets boosted. Dark Pulse would get boosted. Has a ton of special moves that get boosted. You can run Hidden Powers. To hit any Pokemon in particular. Toxic, it could be pretty bulky. You could just run max HP based on how high his defense and special defense are max HP. And probably max special attack, or because it has such high special attack, you can run in defenses or run in speed, depending on what you're looking for. Blastoise should be just a really nice Gloomon. It can remove hazards and hit super, super hard. So I think for Blastoise for 10 points is like a steal. I feel like that was great value there. So that was 10 points. We have 27 points left. Does it get... so it does get blocked by Ghost types. Does it get... It does have Foresight. So Foresight allows you to hit Ghost types even with normal and Fighting type moves. So I could hit it with Aura Sphere, like a An Aegislash, not that I would have Dark Pulse hit it anyway, but I could Rapid Spin on like an Aegislash if I go for Foresight. So that's a cool option in Generation 6. So pick 5. I have 27 points left for 4 to 6 members. I'm still interested in Scizor or Crobat. I'd be really, really low with points if I got those. I think this is the point. And they were both still available. No. Crobat was taken at this point. Oh, yeah, TJ took it when I was telling him I was considering getting it. So that was unfortunate. I would like a Grounded Poison, though, just to avoid T-Spikes. So Blastoise, I mean, can Rapid Spin. Clefable ignores them, but Garchomp and Deoxys both get hit by them, so ideally we don't let that happen. Still don't have a Steel type yet, so I think Scizor is a viable option in this point, but I would have 13 points left for 3 to 5 members, which is workable, and I probably bring those 5 every week, but it'd be a little bit tough. I think a Dark type would also be nice just to handle like Mega Alakazam, Mega Latios, Mega Metagross, Mega Latios. We have a lot of really strong Psychic types. I think having a Dark type is going to be paramount. So one Pokemon that I did consider that doesn't really help with really any of the holes I had was Superior. It has a nice speed. It has Defog. It's also a good ground resist, which I don't really have a ground resist right now. Though my team, I mean, all my mons are neutral, but it would be good to have a better ground resist. So Superior is a cool option there. But I didn't think it checked off not boxes. So what I went with was an 8-point Pokemon. As we see here, Blastoise and Hitmonlee were picked. So like people are starting to go into the cheaper route, especially if you got a lot of points early on. So we have Hawlucha. So Hawlucha for 8 points seems super, super crazy. Maybe not as crazy in Generation 9 with the power creep and all that, but in Generation 9 it also has a lot more moves. So it does not get Brave Bird. It does not get Close Combat. It does not get Throat Chop. It does not get Defog. So it really doesn't have as many options as you think Hawlucha would have in this gen. A lot of the times it was honestly a Swords Dance, High Jump Kick, Acrobatics, and Substitute would be the best way with Citrus Berry. And Unburden, obviously. You don't even have Endure is not even a legal move on Hawlucha, so it's just harder to set up Hawlucha to get to the Swords Dance suite, but I think it's definitely possible, and the power creep is not as high in Generation 6 as it was in other generations, but the bulk is a lot higher, so a little bit harder for Lucha to actually claim kills, but I think at base 118 speed, it's obviously a great speed. I can run it as just like a U-turn option with High Jump Kick. It has a couple of coverage moves, Fire Punch, Iron Head, Poison Jab to hit Fairy types at least. It really doesn't hit Ghost types, Zen Headbutt, unless you run like Swords Dance Acrobatics, but it's unfortunate, but it's cool. Like Hidden Power Ice, you're probably going to run to hit Garchomp, and Hawlucha's probably not going to die to a Hidden Power Ice, and then you can Swords Dance up. If you're like an electric type though, then that's problematic, but I think for 8 points, Hawlucha is going to be a cool option that probably is not going to come every game, but I think comes to enough game. It has to force enough prep. It has the speed option to be faster than Deoxys, so I think that's neat. So if you're speed creeping Deoxys, then you might also have to speed creep like Hawlucha, and that's basically impossible to speed creep a +2 speed Hawlucha. That's going to be very tough. So pick 6, I think it's here. Scizor is still available, so definitely something I was considering getting. The only coach that could get it was 100p, and I thought his team had other holes that I didn't think he was going to get Scizor. Like, he didn't have a steel type yet, so I thought he was going to get an expensive steel, but a different one. He also didn't have a grounded poison, so I wanted to pick up my grounded poison yet, so for 3 points, I got Vileplume here. So Vileplume is interesting. Base 50 speed could be chlorophyll speed for sure, but I think most of the time you're going to run Effect Spore, grounded poison to so you absorb toxic spikes. It's a second cleric on the team with aromatherapy. It has synthesis. No strength sap in this game yet, but synthesis is still fine to heal up. Surprise Sunsweeper, Effect Force could be great because sleep is not banned in this. It's banned on Darkrai though, so that's Dark Void Darkrai is not going to be an issue there. Still on Hypnosis though, which I did run in my run that I had Darkrai with. And it has like enough coverage, especially because you can just run Hidden Power, so you always have enough coverage. So Vileplume is definitely fine for 3 points. So I have 16 points left for 2 to 4 Pokemon. For pick 7, 100p did get Skarmory, which is... Or not Skarmory, he got Scizor. So that was unfortunate. He has like no points left at this point. So that's basically gonna be the six Pokemon he has are gonna be the ones that he brings every game. So unfortunate there. There are other steals that were available, so that's why I was fine with not getting Scizor, even though I was debating it since like pick 3. But there's like Skarm, Metagross, Cobalion, Registeel, Steelix, Escavalier. I think they're all fine options. There are obviously still busted Mega Pokemon, Mega Gardevoirs here, Mega Metagrosses here. So you want something that can like take on those Pokemon. So I basically handled it between, I think Metagross can, because you can just run max HP and a Resist Berry to take any hit, and like it's strong enough to deal a lot of damage and has priority, which is nice for Alakazam. And Mega Gardevoir. Registeel, like again, can run Thunder Wave and you're just super bulky. You can Seismic Toss to not be like setup fodder. Steelix is not as good on the special defensive side, but Clefable is fine in that role. And Steelix would also let me get more expensive Pokemon to pair with it, like a decent Dark type or a decent Electric type, like Jolteon was an option I was considering. If I go Metagross, and I literally have 2 points left, so there's not a lot of options there. But fortunately, I do like a lot of the 1-point options. So the next Pokemon I'm going to get, which is for 1 point, is a mascot Pokemon in Absol. I used to be the Philadelphia Absol, is like the Philadelphia Soul Arena football team. So Absol is the next Pokemon I got. It is a base 130 attack, which is the same as Garchomp. And it has Sucker Punch, which is base 80 as opposed to base 70 in the current generation games. But this is a Pursuit Trapper, knockoff, really low defense, is 65, 60, 60. So you're not taking a lot of hits. But with 130 attack, you are hitting very strong. So especially if you paired with Sword Stance, which you can definitely run. So, and it has enough coverage move that it's not completely set up fodder. So, Channel Mascot, I like it. It has the option, I guess, to run Choice Scarf and maybe outspeed some of those fast Psychic types, but probably not. You could just run like Chapel Berry for Alakazam, Focus Blast, and like kill it with a Knockoff or Sucker Punch or Pursuit, whatever you want to go for. Mega Alakazam has options to beat that set, but that's fine. I think Absol here is enough of a deterrent for 1 point. For my next pick, I'm going to get another 1-pointer, so that's probably showing that I'm going to be getting Metagross for my last pick, especially because at this point for pick 8, no one can pick Metagross. So we're getting a Molga for 1 point, which definitely seems like a weird Pokemon. It has 103 speed, so faster than Garchomp, so that's like kind of nice. But it's basically Zapdos with no stats, and resistant to electric, so I guess it's like a Thunderous T with no special attack. And it's faster, so I guess that it has that going for it. It's also a lot less bulky, but it's okay. It has Ruse, though, that Thunderous T does not have. It's a ground resist that I don't really have a great one on the team yet, but I'm going to try to basically ignore that, and hopefully it works out for me, question mark. Faster than base 100 speeds. It's like an okay electric immunity. I feel like Absol's going to be more likely to come than Emolga, but Emolga is an option that I have. Like, you're probably running Hidden Power Ice to hit Garchomp anyway, so you're probably hitting Emolga for decent damage because it's 55 HP, 60 special defense. That's not great, but has good resistances, so Emolga is definitely interesting here. And then pick 9 is going to be Metagross. We're going to go with that. It would have been nice to have more momentum options because it's basically Emolga. Absol also has Baton Pest, but you're probably not going to run that a whole lot, so not a lot of momentum on the team, but I think that's okay. And I guess you have like Healing Wish, Clefable is an option as well. But Metagross is a lot more versatile than Scizor, which is a plus that it has. You can run Rocker, Weakness Policy. Basically, you can run max HP and a Resist Bear, and you probably live any one hit. And then you have 135 attack, which is stronger than Garchomp and Absol. So you get hit quite hard here. And you have Priority and Bullet Punch to pair with Priority with Absol. And I guess just the fast speed of Hawlucha plus the Toxic speed here. So Metagross, you guys know what it does, so really nice. Also has Pursuit in this generation, so another Pokemon that can kind of handle Psychic types, like Gardevoir it handles fine. Gardevoir can run like Will-O-Wisp or Shadow Ball or options like that. Mega Alakazam. Metagross is like it's an okay option for. Has Explosion, which is strong. So, okay. So that is my ORAS team. I think it's a pretty cool combination of Pokemon here. Like, you don't really see Hawlucha too often, but you do see like Garchomp and Clefable. So like both of those mons being on the same team and Metagross, that's a pretty decent Fairy Dragon Steel Core if that's something you care about. So cool team here. Would have been nice to get like a fighting type. Oh, we have Hawlucha. It's not a great fighting type, but it's for 8 points. It's cheap. Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty happy about this team. It's weak to ground moves, but like no mon is super effectively hit by earthquakes at least, and you can run Air Balloon. So that's fine. All right, so that's my ORAS build, and we'll get into the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon build next. Okay, for ORAS, I took a very long time, so hopefully I could be a little bit shorter with Sun and Moon here. So I was the 9th pick, so it gives me the wheel option, so it probably will cut a little bit quicker here. Though I feel like the team is a little bit harder to put together. There are definitely more broken stuff allowed. You can see like the 25, the 22 point tier, like there were more options than in ORAS. Let's see, there's 4, 4, 3, and 3 Pokemon allowed, and we have 3, 3, 3, and 2. So like there's more points to spend in Sun and Moon, so it might be harder to get better value later on at the end. So in this draft, I was trying to go a little bit more well-balanced of a route than my previous draft. As we could see with the first pick, all the Pokemon were picked: Genesect, Mega Metagross, Negadadel, Necross, Madon. I would have picked any of those. Mega Alakazam, I would have picked. Darkrai, I would have picked. Blaziken, I wouldn't have picked. Ash Greninja, I probably wouldn't have picked. But yeah, there's a lot of cool options for sure. So we could see the pink ones that these Pokemon cannot Z-Axis. So Deoxys Speed, I have it in Generation 6, so I'm not going to get it for Generation 7. Mega Latios, I think, is a pretty tempting option. I used it in the past in Sun and Moon and was great. Aegislash I used in ORAS and I think it's great. Mega Mawile is a great Pokemon, and other options here, but a lot of these other options like you can use in other draft leagues. You can't really use Aegislash in Sun and Moon. You can't really use Mega Latios. It's like borderline allowed. Mega Latios usually isn't allowed. Deoxys Speed usually isn't allowed, but I've used Deoxys Speed. So it's probably going to be Aegislash, and then maybe one of these 2 Mega options is what I'm thinking of. I went with Aegislash with my first pick. Aegislash is really nice because the stats are higher. So 150 defense, special defense, which turned into attack and special attack. In Generation 8, they were nerfed down to 140. So Aegislash is definitely better in Generation 6 and 7. And King Shield, you lose -2 attack if you attack, as opposed to -1 attack in Generation 8. So yeah, Aegislash is just all around better. But it has Z-Axis, which we did not allow in the past. So what's nice with Z-Axis on Aegislash is it's obviously weak to knockoff, or not to knockoff. So holding a Z item lets you not take as much damage as like just a normal item. So definitely a nice boost there. We also did not allow Aegislash with Z-Axis in the past in Sun and Moon. So I think now that we open it up, I think it's going to be a pretty broken option there. And I could obviously pair with Mega Latios, and we would spend 46 of our 100 points, and that would be a really, really cool combination there. But I liked other Mega options that are later down the list. It's always a tempting thing with UDL. Do I want to get like a super broken Mega? Mega Metagross, I think it's worth it. Mega Alakazam and Sun and Moon, I think it's worth it. So, but we weren't able to get those 2 options. So I wanted to go a little bit cheaper. Now you can see here, like, I could get Landorus T, I could get Tapu Lele, I could get Garchomp, Mew, Tornadus, Zeraora. They're all great Pokemon. Kyurem Black for 19 points. The problem with these Pokemon are they all want Z-Axis. And if I'm going to give Z-Axis to my Aegislash, which I'm going to do, because that just makes it so much stronger, then these Pokemon are definitely not as good in the 20-point tier. So I wanted to get Pokemon that I feel like are still worth it for their point value. I don't need to rely on a Z. So some options there would be like Landorus for 18 points. I think is a super great special breaker option there. Tapu Fini, it likes Z but doesn't need Z, and I think it's just a really nice option. But Fini would have not paired with a Dragon type Mega that I wanted in the future. so I didn't want to go that route. Latios for 17 points I thought was just excellent value. It wants Z, but it doesn't. It wants Z, but I think it's fine at 17 points for it not having Z and still being a good Pokemon. But honestly, I went even cheaper and paired it with Greninja for my second pick. Cannot use Protean, so it has to be Torrent. But it's a Spiker, it's a Toxic Spiker, it's a Momentum Pokemon with U-Turn. Still hits pretty strong with 103 special attack. And it's great speed. So I like that option to pair with Aegislash. Also a Dark Resist. It's not a great Dark Resist, but it's a Dark Resist. It's a Fire Resist. Again, not a great one, but it's a good enough resist. And I think both of these Pokemon have pretty good synergy that they'll be nice. I have 62 points left for 68 months, which is cheaper than what most everyone else had. And I feel like I could get a couple more like mid-tier, really good Pokemon still. So for picks 3 and 4, the wheel pick, a Mega that was definitely tempting me was Mega Lopunny at 17 points. Was still allowed. And Mega Lopunny would be pretty good with this team. It's not an option I went with, but like that really high attack to pair with Aegislash and pair with Greninja Spikes and Toxic Spikes, it seems like a pretty cool option. It doesn't have U-Turn. It has Baton Pass, which is okay, but I did not go with the Mega Lopunny route. You have to rely on High Jump Kick or Drain Punch, and they're both weak. Low Kick is situationally good. It's usually fine, but it's situational there. So did not go with Lopunny. The Pokemon I went with instead was Charizard Mega X for 15 points. I feel like this was a really nice option. And I was debating between this and Mega Garchomp for 12 points. But I went with Charizard X. It's obviously weak to rocks, but there's so many hazard removal options in Generation 7, and I wasn't too worried about not having one. And obviously, I'm going to pair it with my round 4 wheel pick, and that's probably going to be a removal option there anyway. Yeah, it's really strong. 130 attack with Tough Claws. It has 130 special attack, so you can definitely surprise checks that think you're going to be able to handle on the physically offensive side. 130 special attack. It's not Charizard Y, but it's nothing to scoff at either. And it has pretty nice defensive ability with 111 defense. The special defense is not great, but it's definitely all right. And really, really worst case, like it is resistant to ground if you don't choose to Mega Evolve right away, which we don't have to Mega Evolve right away. So if you're going to revenge it with like a Crocodile Earthquake, well, I might not Mega and then Dragon Dance in regular form, and then you're screwed at that point. So you could obviously run Stone Edge, but that's another option. You're probably not killing a regular Charizard X with the Scarf Stone Edge if I'm at full health. So yeah, obviously Charizard is great. Wanted to pair it with a 15-point Pokemon. Or not a 15 point. It ended up being 15, but I wanted a removal option. Spinners, Defog. I thought Zapdos was pretty good at 17. 17 is a lot. That's why I didn't pick it. It's like, if you were like in the 15, 14 point range, I probably would have gone Zapdos here. I felt like it was a little bit too expensive. Rotom Wash I would have been fine with, but it was 16 points and taken. So obviously can't do that. I think Superior was definitely a cool option. There's Shaman Sky sitting there with no Air Slash. I think Superior would have been a really, really nice option, but I wanted a Pokemon that could Snowball and is also in this 15-point tier, so I went with Kartana, which I do have a Steel type already, but you have 181 attack. It is super, super strong. And it always has, like, there's like Pokemon like Corviknight that it just can't touch at all, but Charizard handles really those no issue. Like Kartana, Charizard is like a really, really nice combination there. Though they both don't totally resist ground, they kind of, like Kartana is okay against ground types because you have such a high defense that you could take them on with really no issue and run Synthesis and be alright. Obviously you're going to be weak to Hidden Power Fire, which is probably going to be common with Kartana plus Aegislash. So if you have an electric type and you run Hidden Power Fire, then you're not really hitting Charizard. So I think that's also an interesting option of note there. So Kartana has high sweeping potential with Sword Stance. Choice Banded will hit super hard. Choice Scarf, it likes to have Z-axis for sure. Like Z Giga Impact was pretty standard to like kill Zapdos back in Generation 7 with Normalium Z. So like you don't have that option, but outside of that, I don't think you really need the Z on Kartana, so I'm definitely fine with this selection here. I think Superior was safer and would have been fine, but I think Kartana gives higher upside potential of like the Pokemon itself doing better. Though Superior is also cool. It's weaker to start, and I wanted the breaking power. So Aegislash hits really hard, Charizard hits really hard, Cortana hits really hard. Granite is like generally fine attacks and it has good coverage. So picks 5 and 6. 2 Pokemon that I wanted that were taken were Uxie. Where's Uxie at 11 points and Buzzwole at 13 points. They would have been Pokemon I would have considered. I have 32 points right now for 4 to 6 months. So I can definitely still get like in the 11 to 15 point range and be fine. And in this generation, you have 50% berries. So like Papa Berry lets you heal for 50%, which pairs really, really nice with like Uxie. It lets it take a lot more hits than normal. So yeah, so I wanted, obviously, Rockers, and I think I still want Ground Resist on the team, which is like a downside of picking Cortana over Superior. Though Cortana, like, again, takes ground hits fine. It's really not that big of a deal. And I think Cortana's cool. So, yeah, unfortunately I was able to get Uxie or Buzzwole, but I did get Mesprit to go into the Uxie slot. Mesprit is 1 point cheaper. And I think I like Mesprit more anyway, just because it has Healing Wish. So that's an option that Uxie doesn't have. It has Memento, which is definitely fine. Actually, Memento would have been pretty good on this team. It just gives Aegislash an even easier opportunity to autonomize, or a Charizard to Dragon Dance. So that would have been fine. But Healing Wish is good to heal up Aegislash. I mean, all the sweepers to full again. Kind of like with Clefable plus Garchomp or Deoxys or whatever offensive route I wanted to go there. Has Healing Wish, it has Stealth Rocks. You can run the 50% berries on Mesprit. It's not as bulky, but it's stronger, so you can deal a little bit more damage there. And it has Momentum as well. So Mesprit, I like here. The next Pokemon I got, I wanted Rapid Spin to pair with Greninja Spikes and Aegislash blocking Rapid Spin. Again, Superior would have been cool to be a defog to turn too, but you don't really pick on flying type, so that's risky there. So Donphan is our next pick here. Super reliable, rocks, rapid spin, has 120 attacks. It's not like you're going to be super weak there. You can still deal pretty decent damage, and also benefits from the 50% berries. So Donphan, like the combination here. A good second rocker. So I have 13 points left for 2 to 4 Pokemon. And I'm going to be getting 2 Pokemon, so it's going to be an 8 Pokemon draft. But I really like all 8 Pokemon I have on my team. For picks 7 and 8, let's get a new Gen 7 team. I feel like I didn't really need a Fairy type because I have Aegislash on the team. Like Comfey would have been interesting, but I decided to not go that route. I also wanted a Z Captain. Again, we had 28 points to spend on our Z Captains. You could get as many as you want. You could pick like 4 7-point Pokemon to be your Z Captains. And Aegislash is going to be 22 points, so I have 6 points left. So I wanted to get a Pokemon that was 6 or less. I really like Archeops. In Generation 7, that's like one of my favorite Draft League Pokemon of all time anyway. But TJ picked it, I think, the pick right before me, so oof, that was tough. And I think it would have been nice because I wanted another ground resist in the team. Archeops is pretty frail, so it would have been a great ground resist, but I would have been fine with it. So fighting type would have been good here. Grounded Poison would have been good here, so I don't have one yet. But I just realized I wasn't going to be able to get everything on the team, and I wanted just like a very cohesive top 8. So we have Electros in the 7 slot. You can run the 50% berries on Electros, and like it just has like fine bulk, and it will live like any hit you wanted to. It has Levitate. It has Discharge. You can para Pokemon. It has enough coverage and base 115 attack, 105 special attack. It's not passive. It could even coil and like set up with like Dragon Tail. It was like Coil, Dragon Tail, Rest Sleep Talk. Electros is a set I like probably more in Generation 6 because fairies aren't as prevalent, but I still like it for Electros. Has slow momentum to get in, like our Aegislash, or get in a Cortana that doesn't want to take a hit. And Power Fire is going to do nothing to an Electros, so stuff like that. So Electros, just a nice secondary ground resist. And then a tertiary ground resist I have on the team is Virizion. So Virizion might be kind of weird in this last slot because I already have Cortana that fulfills basically that similar speed slot. Obviously a lot more special defense on Virizion than Cortana, but it has Synthesis, so it's It's like a middle ground of Superior, but I don't really want Superior on this team. We have Synthesis, and obviously Verzion can be a Z option, so you can go like Close Combat or Leaf Blade and hit pretty hard. Not as hard as you might be hitting as hard as Cortana. You have like literally half the attack that Cortana does, which is not great. Well, the base stat is lower, but yeah, no, Cortana's attack is just ridiculous. But no Mega Horn on Verzion, which is unfortunate. I see Verzion as probably more of a defensive type role on the team that can run as the option if needed. It's also a nice dark deterrent on the team because my dark resist was Greninja, so I didn't have a great one. So this is a secondary option. It gives it an attack boost, so it benefits from a dark type going for a knockoff on a Aegislash or something like that. So probably not the greatest option here with Verzion, but I think it definitely works. So, and it gives me the secondary Z option that I wanted. So that is my second team here. I'm really excited to use both of these teams, though. I think they're going to be both cool. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content. The video is going to be pretty long here, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this really in-depth analysis. I'm going to just go like all out and just go really, really heavy on the analysis here. Probably less on the big excitement, dry jokes and the skits and all that. I'm going to really just tone in on like the actual battles and like giving out like really good analysis and thoughts about how I like approach the game. So bring it back to my roots, a different approach here that you've seen for a while, but hopefully you guys appreciate that. But yeah, let me know down below what you guys think of my teams, which one you like more, my ORAS team or my Sun and Moon team. I really like both. I think so at this point I've already played both my ORAS games, so I haven't played with my Sun and Moon team, but I'll just say I like my ORAS team a lot. So we'll see. It's going to be tough competition in this, but hopefully we do well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, later guys.